When you look back at Preston, what's your thoughts? How does it come together as a club? Did it sort of meet your expectations, exceed your expectations?
Well, look, I thought a fantastic club, because I think your club is only the players that are in it and the people that run it at any given time.
Yeah.
And I look back very fondly at Preston. I mean, people that are, if there's some of the guys watching this, they'll know what I'm talking about. We're just all like-minded, particularly the first grade blokes that I was playing with on a weekly basis. All a bit, there was some lunatics that played at the club. I mean, lunatics. I mean, Shane Day was just, there's a guy, you know, Daisy is one of the first guys I played with. He hated cricket, but at the same time loved it. He didn't want to bat, yet he wanted to bat.
Yeah.
And he was very talented, but he would say he was shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So he was like, he's never dull. And he was great. Daisy did say one thing to me when I was first playing, and it might have been it was in the heat of a game. You know, Greg had worked out I could bowl a little bit as well, so I'm bowling that straight break rubbish I bowled, and might have been saying something, you know, because subbies is a bit like that. And then it maybe got to the end of the day or something, he said to me, he goes, you know, Doggy, he says, I think you might be the most competitive person I've ever played cricket with. Right. And I thought that was a great compliment. Yeah. Because, I couldn't really bowl, but I pretended I could, and we were pretty competitive. But Shane Day was a great guy. I mean, I know that when I went and played cricket later on in local cricket, perhaps I was a little disappointed with people's desperation for the team and things like that. It sort of, I wasn't used to that. And I'd always think back to someone like Tim Jessel. Now, Tim's days as a fast bowler were pretty much gone, and he was a good fast bowler when he played Premier cricket. But he still was in the team because he could hit, and he was tremendous in the field, and he loved playing for Preston. Yeah. Like, it just meant a lot to him. And so his desperation at different times when I had blokes sitting down on the field at different times in local cricket, and Tim Jessel was just, to me, like was an example of what it meant at Preston. And each era we had a different sort of bunch of guys. I mean, Sonny Gregory was another sort of interesting individual, bowling with his headband on. Aaron Weir, the nicest guy you ever meet. Bowling his off spinners, but you get 6 pots into him, you know what I mean? And then that's the same with Brad Whitefield. Right. Probably Greg. Greg's a little bit more sensible. A bloke called Ross Peterson, Dean Kelly, Kevin Lowe. Yeah. Kevin Lowe's a lunatic. Kevin. I played at the start when Kevin wasn't married or with anyone. He was just a single guy. So you can imagine what Kevin was like. So we used to get out and we'd love it. We just loved each other's company. Yeah. And even Dallas Thomas, he'd be playing his guitar after rooms. It'd be a nightclub, like a nightclub in the showers. Yeah. And everyone just really enjoyed playing with each other. And that's my memory of it. We had our down moments where we're a bit dirty on each other, but this is how stupid it was. I had to bring up a rule that you couldn't talk about anything but cricket between 1 and 6. Right. Because they never even watched the game. Yeah. So you could be out there battling away and you might hit a single, and I don't know, let's say Jeff Simo might have hit a single, he's on 50. Well, not even really a clap, because they're talking about their old stories and what happened last night and all that sort of thing. So we had to just tell them, look, concentrate on cricket. All right, so we had that, and plus we had some young guys in the team, and they didn't need to hear any of those stories, right? So we just had to get them to concentrate, but that was the joy of it. So, they were just a great bunch of guys. I mean, I think you get to the end of your cricket career and you don't remember a lot about what happened in games and things like that. You have your friendships, you remember certain aspects. But the thing I remember a lot, or remember the most, is in the rooms after the game, in the circle, with the big song about the start, and looking over at the guys, particularly Lowies, loving it, and off we go, sing the song. Yeah. And that was what the joy of playing for Preston was. It was just a shame that we all got a bit old in the end, you know what I mean? Would have liked to keep going. Yeah, that's it. Won't stop. Time doesn't stop, does it? That's right. But they were great days, great 9 seasons.
Yeah. Well, they talk very highly of you, the players from that era. in my discussions with them and some conversations. So highly regarded. We'd love to see you a bit more there, but we understand with business and your commitment at South Melbourne, that sometimes is a bit hard, but you're welcome, of course, anytime down there. We spoke about business. Your family?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm married to Leanne and got one son, James. So, yeah, I mean, James is just, he was working for me. Now he's gone to uni, doing a Bachelor of IT, so he's doing that. And Leanne's always been, she's not, my marriage is interesting because Leanne's was either was originally into horse shows, like really successful at it, really dedicated to it. So her weekends are tied up with horse shows and getting horses prepared. She's into dogs now. It's a little bit like a progression from cricket to golf, I think. Yeah. So there was never a problem with being at training, you know, selection or Saturday nights, you know. So probably that was a great fit for cricket. So yeah, from a family perspective, there was never a query about being at the club too long or anything like that. Leanne sort of understood how it all worked because she was very passionate about her sport.
Yes, yeah. And the centre here, the coaching centre, it's going from strength to strength. You mentioned that you're interstate. How many programs do you run?
Well, I mean, the one-on-one coaching's always been busy. I mean, I've been doing it for 36 years now. Yep. But, you know, we did a lot of coaching last year, probably more than ever before. So that was unbelievable considering the time that COVID took out of things. Look, we run the cricket camps in Victoria, New South Wales, Western Australia, even up in Geraldton, as we were saying, and down to Bustleton, you know, up to Tamworth. So we cut back a little bit because of COVID, but we run about 30 cricket camps a year. You know, in that period, in that time that I've been running them, I've been able to work with some fantastic guys. I mean, over 60 Test cricketers have worked on the camps. You know, there's, I don't know, tens of thousands of kids, probably 60, 70, 80,000 kids have been to the cricket camps. So, yeah, it's pretty successful.
And what's your coaching philosophy in broad terms with younger guys? Be themselves, tidy them up, or do you...
Well, I suppose if someone was to come in and get coaching, I mean, the first thing we would do, look, I think with coaching, like for batting, so if someone was to come in here, I mean, the first thing you've got to be able to do is you've got to be able to play all the shots pretty well, right? So if I was to put the bowling machine on, you should be able to play a nice drive, and if you can't, we could help you learn how to do that. Now, that's the base. That doesn't make any runs on a Saturday, of course, because you've got to make decisions. So, yeah, you do a lot of work initially with kids doing that, getting all their technique right, so they can, you know, do it in a closed skill environment, if you like. And then basically, as they get better or they're working more with you, then you start to work on decision making, concentration, you know, ball watching techniques, those sorts of things. And then really, cricket, unfortunately for some people, and fortunately for others, cricket's a practice game. So you can be told something, you've got to go away and work on it. And, you know, some people bring their kids in, or even adults, and use the coaching session like practice, if you like, you know, and they don't do the work outside. Well, to me, they're the ones that don't succeed. At Preston, I'll give you an example. So Jack Rudd was our student here for a long time, and Jack came down and played at Preston. But he was always prepared to work on his game. He had talent and he had good technique, and we'd worked with him. Yeah, but he was a good example of someone who then would go and do the work, and he's still getting results now. I mean, he's played some state seconds games. He was fantastic. I batted with him one day after he'd been getting coaching when he was 15 out at Melton. He's facing Shane Harwood. And Shane had been playing BBL that year, and the speed gun was saying 140 plus, so Jack Rudd's 15, and I think Jack only made 15 or 20, but it's just really good, behind, good technique. He was fantastic. So I suppose he's a good example of someone who's got a little bit of ability, gets shown, works on things, and then does the practice himself. So yeah, that would be my philosophy. You've got to have that base of technique. You've got to be able to do it. If you can't hit a bowling machine, how are you going to make a run? But then you've got to be able to learn how to watch the ball, make decisions, and learn how to play And that comes with experience, of course.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And then you've got the thing in the head, haven't you?
Well, that's it. Well, that's the concentration side of things. Being able to clear your mind and just watch the ball and react to it. It's a lot easier to say than do.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And this is probably a silly question, but who are the best 2 or 3 players who've come through your academy? Who've gone on to big...
Well, there's not been there's been people that have done that. I do a thing called the Emerging Player Program, so we do that on Sunday nights, and we've had some great people come through there. Sebastian Gotch was one. Glenn Maxwell did it as a very young guy.
Right.
You know, this is not... And that's just a program that runs for 10 weeks, so we're not claiming them as our guys, you know what I mean? But, yeah, that's the people we've seen come through. A fella called Tom Stray, who's played for South Australia, was a very, very talented guy. You know, people like Ruddy and that, there's any number of guys that have gone on to play district cricket. But of course, you know, to go and play to even play district cricket, you're in a very small minority of people. Yes. So to get someone who's going on to play for Australia, you know, we really haven't had. Yeah. I could say that. I coached Adam Dale a little bit, but I didn't teach him bowling, and we only did 5 lessons. You know, I'm not going to claim Adam, but you know what I mean.
You've seen some really, really good young guys come through.
And if you looked on my website, there's so many that have played for Victorian under-19s, Victorian under-17s, and even then, there's no guarantees. Yeah. You know, some of my really talented guys, you know, have given up the game at 21 because it was just got to them, so it's just such a small percentage of people that come through.
Yeah, that's what elite sport is, isn't it?
Peter Neville was another one. There you go.
Okay. Yeah.
So Peter did our winter programs in the 90s.
Yeah.
And he did our key stackpole programs, and he worked with Darren Berry with the gloves. So we'd like to think that I haven't seen Peter for a long time, and I also coached him when I was playing at Box Hill. Yeah, he was a guy that had done some of our programs. But I suppose for me, and this is what I often say, is if I was to bump into someone, and this happens a bit now because I'm getting older, and someone says, oh, you know, I used to coach me, I'm still playing, you know, I really enjoy my cricket still. To me, that's a great success. You know, someone who's still playing in their 30s or 40s. Because so many young kids give cricket up.
Yeah.
Certainly out of juniors.
They do. Shaun, you're looking great. How old are you?
Me, I'm 54.
Yeah.
54, getting old. Yeah, getting old. I'm not playing anymore. I'm sort of trying to play golf.
Okay.
Yeah, which is very frustrating.
What, you're playing off a handicap?
Yeah.
What are you playing off?
I'm playing off a 9.
Right.
But it was down to 7, and then it can be out at 10.
Okay.
It's very frustrating, golf. And the thing with golf, and it's just like what I said about cricket, so if I go and practice, if I go and hit balls for 2 or 3 hours twice a week, I start playing pretty well.
Yeah.
But to find that time's difficult.
Of course.
You know, but I enjoy golf.
Yeah. Where do you play?
Out at Ainsbury.
Yep.
Which is out because I live out in Sunbury. So Ainsbury's a pretty considered a pretty tough track.
Yep.
So yeah, but they're all tough for me, the golf courses.
Well, on that note, thank you very much, Shaun. This has been a fabulous conversation. I'm sure everyone's going to enjoy it. Appreciate giving up your time, and all the very best for the future.
No worries, and congratulations with all your good work too. Doing a fantastic job with the 1860 Club.
Thank you very much.
No worries.